Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Tuesday, May 26th. I'm your host, Bree Cox-Kennedy. Great show lined up for you today, everything from wellness to entertainment. Everything you need to know about this, so you gotta stay tuned because on today's show, we've got the Goswami Clinic with Dr. Goswami. He's gonna be talking to us about stem cells and the importance of those. And then later in this show, Michael will be here with the PAC film series with Theo Seagal. We look forward to finding out what the PAC has in store and the lineup of movies that they have for you. But first, folks, we always want to keep you informed. This time, it's about carrying your ID at the pickleball courts. Residents using the pickleball courts are reminded to carry their Laguna Woods Village resident ID card at all times while using the community amenities. Security services will be conducting periodic ID checks following reports that some court users may not be residents or properly accompanied by guests. Village policy requires residents to present their ID upon request, and the failure to do so could result in denied access to facilities. If you have any questions, folks, please call Security Services at 949-580-1400. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast, folks. Starting off with a pretty cool start to the week, starting at 68 today. I have 69 tomorrow before we climb on up toward the weekend. Got mostly sunny skies, little clouds drifting through here and there, but pleasant evenings also. Lows are hovering right around the high 50s. So all in all, a beautiful week to get out there and enjoy our lovely community. Sunrise this morning was at 5:42 a.m. Sunset will be at 7:53 p.m. Beautiful photo sent in to us by Joel Goldstein. Laguna Beach sunset. Always a favorite place to be. If you'd like to send us your photos, please do so. Please email those to us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Please send us your name, where the photo is taken from, and in a horizontal format, please. We've got just 2 meetings to tell you about before we head on over to the break, and when we come back, Dr. Goswami will be with me. Stay tuned.
What if healing wasn't about masking pain, but restoring your body's ability to heal itself? At the Goswami Clinic, Dr. Gaurav Goswami has spent over 15 years helping patients recover using advanced stem cell therapy. By using your body's own cells, we help treat orthopedic, spine, and sports injuries so you can get back to living an active life. With cell banking, you can preserve your strongest cells, protecting your future mobility for decades to come. Call today to book your consultation.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Here to talk about STEM therapy. It's been a sort of a buzzword going around for the last few years, but we're going to get to the bottom of it with Dr. Gaurav Goswami. You have a clinic in Newport Beach.
Yes.
Right? The Goswami Clinic. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming back. You've been here once.
Yes.
We had a great conversation. And I love that you're able to just sort of filter out through all the noise and tell us exactly what stem cells are and why we need them.
Yes, absolutely.
Start with that.
So, obviously with anything new, especially in our society, sometimes people don't understand what the concept is because there's so much of marketing and there's so much of hype around it.
Yes.
But stem cell therapy, I feel, is another tool in our box, just like we had surgery and medications. Mm-hmm. And stem cells are these tiny seeds that literally run our life. They're constantly repairing damage. They're constantly growing new cells, And so these are seeds that are embedded in every single tissue of our body, whether it's our brain, whether it's our eyes, whether it is. And so the concept is to use that power of stem cells to help with certain conditions where the damage is such that the local cells are not able to heal. So in essence, that it is. And then also stem cells have tremendous power to differentiate into different kinds of cells also. And that is what makes them unique compared to the other cells in our body.
So it's almost like they're the backup generator.
Absolutely, yes.
They go in and provide the power when
Right.
there is
Power
none.
is needed.
Yes, interesting. Science is fascinating, isn't it? Like I can't even imagine how tiny these little seeds are,
Yes,
as you
yes,
call them,
extremely tiny.
and how they can differentiate a stem cell from a regular cell.
Correct.
Like, who found that out?
That's the power of nature, but on a chemical level, these cells send out different signals compared to regular cells. So even the regular cells are aware of. In fact, I tell patients the reason we have cancer is because our cells are constantly multiplying, regenerating, and repairing. And when something goes wrong, what is a cancer cell? It's just an abnormal growth of cells, right? So when the stem cell, in fact, most of the future cancer research is focused on cancer stem cells, because what happens is stem cells make cells, correct? That's their job. They're constantly regenerating and repairing cells. And for them to make abnormal cells, it's the stem cell that gets affected. So far, we've focused with radiation, chemotherapy, and surgery on just debulking the tumor.
Right.
That's why patients need to come every few months and get repeat imaging to see if the tumor stays shrunk.
Right.
But we're not eliminating the disease from the root.
Right.
Once we start having treatments that are directed towards cancer-producing stem cells, then we will really be removing that disease for good.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the research is right now happening in the world of cancer and oncology.
Do you think they'll get there, doctor?
Absolutely, yeah. In breast cancer, they're very close to getting it there. There's a lot of research at University of Michigan, which is happening on directing therapies towards cancer stem cells, because stem cells are the seeds. So if stem cells produce regular cells, for a cancer to develop, the disease process starts in the stem cell. The stem cell has gone rogue, and that's why now it's producing cancer. So that will really be a huge leap.
So there was a point in time when science and medical thought that cancer developed from the normal cells, right?
Correct.
And so now they've found that is maybe not necessarily the case.
Correct.
Starts from the stem cell.
Yes, the stem cell has gone abnormal and it's producing abnormal cells. Normal stem cells produce normal cells. Cancer stem cells produce cancer cells.
Is that an environmental factor?
There are a lot of influences, obviously. First of all, there's a genetic basis, as to why somebody at 27 years of age is going to develop a colon cancer, or for that matter, breast cancer. And so there's a genetic influence, there's environmental influence, and there are lifestyle influences also. So if you have an abnormal gene, then the environment or your lifestyle can trigger that to make that happen.
Right, right. So there's different sources of stem cells available for clinical use.
Yes, so right now where we are with stem cells, we can certainly harvest. We just got done talking about how our body is full of stem cells. So we can certainly harvest stem cells from our own body and use methods to concentrate those stem cells. Those typically come from bone marrow and fat. Fat is an excellent source of stem cells.
So fat's good for something.
Absolutely. So who would have thought, right? So everybody is willing to give some fat. So that can work as a source of your own stem cells. It does require a harvesting procedure. And then there are stem cells from donated umbilical cord tissue. So with the newborn baby, the baby is not being sacrificed or harmed in any way, but the umbilical cord, that's the cord that attaches the mother and the baby, is also full of stem cells. So there are companies that collect those cord tissue and then they clear them out and they concentrate the stem cells and then those are sold. But those typically, obviously, is a foreign source. It's coming from another individual, but you can get those.
So why wouldn't we keep our own umbilical cord in storage for our later years when we actually need the stem cells from it?
Yeah, so very good question, because cord banking industry or cord blood banking industry has been out there for almost 30 plus years now.
Has it really?
They've been collecting cord blood, but the problem is that blood is usually a poor source of stem cells. So actual umbilical cord tissue, because I have a lot of parents who call the clinic or come in for consultation, and they're wondering whether they can use those stem cells for either their own child or even for themselves. But currently, because those sources are so poor, you're not going to get enough stem cells out of them. We do encourage them to talk to their bank and see what they can give us. We're happy to use it. That's a good source for them. But it hasn't really panned out the way it should have. But going forward, we also do adult stem cell banking. So just like I mentioned, we can remove your fat for pulling your own stem cells out. You can actually bank your fat also.
And doctor, so how much fat do you need in order to get enough stem cells to make a difference in the condition that you're trying to treat?
It does depend upon the condition we're trying to treat. So in the same day, same sitting, I usually target for, say, I'm treating a joint, a knee joint, a shoulder, or spine. So we're targeting on getting good about 100, 150 cc's, so about 3 to 5 ounces of fat. But if you're banking your fat, the beauty there is we just need an ounce of fat to bank, 20 cc's, 30 cc's, and then we can multiply those your own stem cells into millions and billions of cells, not only for one treatment, but even for future treatment. So I don't think we need to think that, oh, I didn't bank my umbilical cord, because 30 years of something staying in a freezer it's hard to know what that ability.
It might get freezer burn.
Correct. But you can certainly bank your own fat even today, and that's allowed in the United States.
So what other conditions are stem cells used to treat?
So right now, mostly orthopedic conditions, knees, shoulders, any joint, any muscle injury, hamstring injuries, any muscle injury, spine. We've been getting very good results in spine also. And because, just to get a little bit technical, the cells we get from bone marrow and from fat are called MSCs. So there are a particular kind of stem cells called mesenchymal stem cells, MSC. And mesenchymal stem cells are which form our orthopedic system in the first place. So there's an exact match of the stem cells. Whereas for certain other conditions like Parkinson's or MS or Alzheimer's, we're still doing some research into what exact stem cells we'll need. We can still use MSCs in those conditions to kind of tone down the symptoms, but there's no cure. But in orthopedics, if we apply the stem cells properly in enough dose, then we can really heal the condition without the need for surgery or joint replacement.
So you are injecting those stem cells back into the body at the place
where help is needed. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. And then what prevents those stem cells from dying off or conversely becoming very healthy?
Very good. So the stem cells that we inject are basically doing a job of reinforcing the local stem cells. So what happens is when you have an inflammation or an injury, the local stem cells stop working and they're not able to heal the joint or whatever the condition is. And reinforced stem cells, the extra stem cells that we put into those areas, actually help clean out the inflammation, and then they leave. They're not going to be staying there forever. That is your body's ability to heal. So all we're doing is we're helping the nature what it's already doing 24/7 by reinforcing with additional stem cells.
So if our body is full of stem cells, then why do we need stem cell therapy?
Right. Because if the condition is gone, stem cells on a daily basis are first of all repairing, right? Your first ankle sprain, it healed itself. You gave it rest. Injuries, we cut our finger, our skin, it heals itself, right? Even, in fact, stem cells is what it heals even after you've had surgery. Who's building the scar tissues? The stem cells are doing the healing.
So the army comes in and gets to work.
Correct. But what happens is when the damage has gone over a tipping point, so that's why chronic conditions, where there is degenerative arthritis where there's other kinds of inflammation, then the local stem cells find it difficult to do the repair process. And that's when we reinforce with external stem cells.
Wonderful. Wow. You're a wealth of information, Dr. Goswami, pioneer of regenerative cell therapy in Newport Beach.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks.
You're watching This Day on Village TV. We'll be back after these messages.
What would it feel like to hear better? Many people are trapped in the isolation of poor hearing and don't realize it. Even people that are wearing other hearing aids. No buttons to push or technology to fear. Artificial intelligence and these products do all the work. Don't settle for less. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
I'm joined by Theo Siegel. He's going to be at the Performing Arts Center doing a special presentation of Apollo 13. It's part of the Spotlight on Cinema series. Thank you for joining us, Theo.
My pleasure.
So Apollo 13, you've done this before, you've been here before, you've done this series before, and we're going to start off this season with Apollo 13. Tell us a little bit about what you do and why people should go to the theater to see Apollo 13, especially if they've seen it before.
I will. So movies, as we know, in the olden days, were made to be seen in a theater
Absolutely.
with a large audience. So
I like to think they still are.
yeah, they are, though there's a little bit of, with streaming,
Right.
people are kind of staying home a lot. But when there's a good movie, people definitely still go. And I think that the experience when you're watching a comedy by yourself and you're just laughing by yourself, it's nothing like watching it with 300 people that are laughing.
Right.
You just get caught up in that humor. Same for an adventure movie or a thriller or a drama or a movie that makes you cry. In this large auditorium with a great screen, great sound system, which we have at the Performing Arts Center, it's just a totally different experience than seeing it by yourself.
Right.
There's that community.
Absolutely, and then part of that community is there's a lived experience. A lot of people that are going to see this movie, in our community at least, probably remember a little bit about Apollo 13 when they were kids, and they remember hearing about it, they remember experience. Maybe they even saw clips of it on TV. So you're going to be talking about the making of the movie, right, and what went into it in the film in its entirety?
Yes, exactly. This is a fantastic movie about how do you make drama about an event that's real that everybody knows the ending to.
Right.
Right. What's suspenseful about that? You know the astronauts didn't die. Big deal. Why am I watching this movie? But Ron Howard, the director, and the writers, and the filmmakers, and the editing, and all about the movie, they make that happen. Even though you know that they're going to be okay, you are on the edge of your seat thinking, are they going to die in space? Because of their talents and what they're bringing to the movie. One of the most remarkable things about this movie is Ron Howard did not want to use computer graphics or effects. So all the special effects are done in camera, on the set, live.
Right.
They actually, the three actors, Tom Hanks, and I'm spacing on
Kevin Bacon,
Yes.
and I forget the other guy's name, but go ahead.
Yes,
Bill,
exactly.
Bill something or something.
Yes, exactly. Bill Paxton.
There we go.
They went on what was known as the Vomit Comet.
Right.
It's an airplane that they use to train astronauts for weightlessness.
Right, and so it kind of goes up like
yes,
this, and then it
yes.
takes this parabolic
Yes,
kind of dive, and then
exactly.
that weightlessness, like you have on a
Yes.
roller coaster or something like that,
Exactly.
and so that they can maintain that for a
Yes.
good number of minutes.
25 seconds.
Okay, but so that's the act when they're floating
Yes.
around there. That they're genuinely
Yes,
floating
exactly.
in the movie.
So the actors went on this Vomit Comet, and all the cast and crew that were there vomited. They did not. They did not get sick. And for 6 weeks, like 300 trips, they're going up and coming down 15,000 feet, 25 seconds of weightlessness, and filming those 25 seconds over 6 weeks to get that weightlessness in the scenes we're going to see. They also had mock-ups of the capsules on the sound stages. They're going to use some tricks of having them weightless, like actors being on seesaws to fill in the time as well. And so that's one of the most remarkable things about this movie. They're also going to recreate Mission Control. They were offered to shoot in the real Mission Control in Houston. It was not, they didn't have the space for all the equipment to do it. So they built Mission Control on the sound stage and down to every detail and perfection. They have videos going on at each station for a monitor under the control panels for videos to time what they're seeing in the scenes, and it's just a remarkable piece of work.
Okay. Now, when people come to see the movie, they're going to see you kind of presenting at the beginning, right? And you have like a PowerPoint, and you kind of walk through a lot of what are some of the things you walk through in a typical spotlight?
We will tackle this each movie from beginning to end. So we will tackle the script, the development with the studio, the director, the casting of the movie, the production, how they filmed the movie, editing, the post-production, the marketing of the movie, the reception of the movie at the time it was released, and why we are still watching and enjoying these movies to this day.
Right. What's the reaction from folks who come and see you speak, do these spotlights, then watch the movie, and then afterwards, do they come up to you and say, wow, okay, that kind of, did it enhance it, or are they pretty excited about it?
Yeah, they are. Sometimes people will come up to me before the movie and say, why do we have to watch you talking about the movie? Just show the movie. But then when they hear the talk...
It's like they're in school.
Yeah,
Can we just see the teacher, can you just roll the film?
Yeah, exactly. just show me the movie, buddy. But no, they totally get a different perspective. They really enjoy it. I've never had somebody complain and say, oh, I didn't want to hear you talking about the movie. They totally get something out of it.
Yeah, so that's that experience, kind of like deeper dive if you know a little bit about that kind of thing. There's some other movies that are going to be on the Spotlight series. We want to talk about A League of Their Own, another Tom Hanks film, A League of Their Own, a fantastically classic film. I love A League of Their Own. So you're going to be doing that one as well. Leave me some trivia about League of Their Own.
Sure. So A League of Their Own was the first baseball movie. It is the biggest grossing baseball movie of all time.
Okay.
Beating The Natural, beating Bull Durham.
Yeah, okay.
And it was directed by Penny Marshall, the actress who was Laverne in Laverne and Shirley.
Yep.
And she was the first woman to direct a movie that made over $100 million.
Oh, wow.
And here, another example of taking true story and making it into a great, entertaining movie. It's based on a real league baseball league.
Based on a real, unlike Apollo 13, that a lot of people didn't know about or didn't know much about. So they could probably take more liberties, but they also were kind of true to it in terms of the peaches and the team names and all that kind of stuff and the real life thing.
Exactly. Here also, the best sports movies are not about the sport. Rocky is not about boxing.
Right.
And The Natural is not about baseball.
It's about those individual stories that come out of there.
So it's the same here. Here, the movie is about two sisters and their sibling rivalry.
Yeah, and that really carries all the way through. And you see that growth in Gina Davis's character and her sister that she plays the pitcher. And let me tell you, it's a great ride. And of course, the classic "No Crying in Baseball."
Yes.
That even if you haven't seen the film, for some reason you have seen that clip.
Yes, a great performance by Tom Hanks, who gained 40 pounds to be this alcoholic kind of character.
He didn't look great in that movie.
Yes.
And then a classic, a way backer, The African Queen.
Yes.
With Humphrey Bogart and
Katharine Hepburn.
Katharine Hepburn, that's right. And that's a great like hero's journey, epic kind of movie that was made back in the day.
Yes, fantastic movie directed by John Huston, shot all on location in the Belgian Congo, where they're isolated from everything. There's no civilization there. There's just local tribe who have extras in the scenes as well. And an incredible piece of filmmaking by John Huston. One of the reasons he wanted to make this movie is he wanted to shoot an elephant as a big game hunter.
Because he was a big game guy, right?
Yeah, and which is, we consider that abhorrent into these days. But in the 50s, that's what people did. They were big game hunters, and they put their heads on the walls. And that's what he would do when he was not shooting, when there was difficulty with the camera.
He was doing a different kind of shooting.
Yeah, exactly. He would go on safari with a guy to try to shoot this elephant, which he never did, thankfully.
Oh, good. Good for the elephant.
Exactly. They saved one for that day.
Now, one bit of trivia I know about that movie is a lot of the cast and crew got malaria.
Yes.
Because they were on location exposed to those diseases back then.
Yes. Everyone got sick. Katharine Hepburn was throwing up between takes. The only people who did not get sick were Humphrey Bogart and John Huston. Bogart said the reason we didn't get sick was because we drank scotch.
Right, and brushed our teeth with it.
Exactly.
Something crazy like that.
And the water there in the river is so toxic that if they put their hands in the water, they can get a deadly parasite.
Right.
So we're going to see these characters in the water, under the water. Bogart will put his glass pour water for his gin. All of those scenes done in the studio lot in a London soundstage.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I remember the famous scene of him coming out and covered in the leech. I don't want to spoil it, but spoiler, covered in the leeches, and it seemed so real. It seemed so visceral when he comes out of there.
Yes, exactly.
And does all that pulling through there. What do you love about doing this?
Well, I love movies, and I've always loved movies, and I have wide taste from foreign movies to independents to blockbusters to classics to modern movies, everything. And whenever I got my DVDs in the old days before we had streaming, I would go right to the commentary before I would see the movie again, and then I would watch the movie again.
Okay.
And I just thought, well, here's a way to do a business with my passion, to impart to other people this enjoyment of films like I have.
How do you pick your movies? Do you kind of go through, hey, these are I've done this one, I've done this one. Do you kind of go by your favorites? Do you go by the fan and people, audience input? Do you do a little combination?
No, I have over 100 titles in my catalog, and I keep adding to it so I don't get bored. It's just one criteria is there enough research about the making of the movie to do a presentation? Some movies I love, but there's nothing about the making of the movie, and I can't come up with 30 minutes of talk about it. And that's kind of how I pick. It's got to be a movie that I like. If it's a movie I really don't like, I can't get passionate about.
All right, well, one of the movies I know you like is coming up on June 3rd, folks, over at the Performing Arts Center. It's going to be Apollo 13. All the films begin at 2 o'clock. Make sure you get out there. Tickets are just $5. Box office is open to purchase those tickets, and they take credit cards. Phone number for recreation and information is on the screen. Thank you so much, Theo, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And look forward to the spotlight coming up.
Absolutely.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
The Laguna Woods History Center, the only purpose-built local history archive in Orange County, has been capturing the legacy of our community since 1977. As a nonprofit dedicated to preserving today for tomorrow, we collect, conserve, and share the history of Laguna Woods Village, the city of Laguna Woods, and the surrounding Orange County region. Step into the past and connect with the present at your community archive. Whether you're curious about local milestones, searching for historical documents, or exploring treasured artifacts, the History Center is your gateway to the stories that shape Laguna Woods. The Laguna Woods History Center is a separate building adjacent to the Village Library. We are open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or by appointment. Visit us and find your place in history.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Let's take another look at our 5-day forecast. It's going to be a gorgeous week ahead. We've got mostly sunny skies, a little bit of clouds here and there blowing through this time of year. Today's high is going to be the coolest of the next 5, coming up to 68 degrees. Tomorrow 69 before we head on into the climb. Lows stay in the high 50s, so pretty pleasant at night as well. Tomorrow on This Day, Michael will be joined by the Republican Club, and he'll also get a recreation update. So stay tuned for that. That's going to do it for this episode of This Day. From all of us here, we wish yours a beautiful one. See you tomorrow.